Hey, what a flip flop though. This is Stranger and Big Moose. We're here just to do with a video day. I just wanted to go on and just talk about a bit of my worries on the webcam. And you can see there, I'm getting a little bit stressed. Look at my beard and everything. I can't even shave properly. So, and it all has to do with the fact that I'm just worried for these games, guys. It's currently November 28th. Predecessor drops on Thursday. So we're 3 days away from Predecessor launching, and we're 10 days away from Overprime launching. I want to talk about some of the worries I have that I think are a lot more realistic. And guys, I think this is how it should be. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst, and that's what I really wanted to talk about today, and just go through it. Guys, number one, both these games are going to die, Overprime and Predecessor, if they don't make it to console. It's just that simple. I think they're going to. I think they actively are aware that that's a thing. But I am worried because I don't think the PC player base is unfortunately large enough, and I think it takes more money to attract than it does. Um, it takes more money to actually get new players than it compared to the money you get from them, right? So I do think console is very important at the moment. But that's way down the line. We don't have anything to worry about, at least for a year, I would say, to worry about anything like that. On top of that, guys, Predecessor's coming out. It's going to be bare bones. It's coming out in 3 days. And they have actively said, that they're doing this to create a paywall so that they don't have these new players play the game. Because they know they only got the one shot with these players, and if they don't capture them within the first few hours, they're not going to play it again. That's it. So they're putting a paywall because they know they won't pay the $10 to try it out. I find that kind of scary, because that means we're just looking at the Paragon refugee player base. That's it. That player base has been burned so many times over the years, guys, and that you can see it's translating over to these games. For example, when Fault got released, it had thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of players that bought that game, played through it, knew that the FPS was terrible, knew about the Cloudflare, hated them for it, but still tried the game and played the game, still bought the game, still gave them their money. You will not see the same hype for that as you will for Overprime or Predecessor because they were burned by Fault. And it's kind of funny how it's translating over because we're all the same Paragon refugee player base working on trying to play these real niche games, right? These real niche subgenre games. And so that's something I worry about. And guys, I'm worried that the game's going to drop below 1,000 players, 1,000 concurrent users. And I think that's a real reality, and I think it's very likely to happen. I think after the first 3 months, it very likely could happen. And I'm just worried because I think if the games drop below that, the game's they're gonna have to start having discussions about, okay, we're actually gonna have to lay people off. We're gonna have to slow down development. We're gonna have to look at closing down the game because 1,000 players just isn't sustainable for majority of games, especially a live service game like this. Like, you just can't survive, right? And now it all depends on what Predecessor does. You know, if they're just going to release Heroes and that's it, yeah, it's definitely going to happen. Heroes just aren't enough to keep people interested. People will be happy for a week and then they know play the Heroes again, then they go back, right, to playing their Warzone. I think if they do more than that, I think they could actively do it. Like, if they start adding in hero progression, store, account progression systems, all this stuff in the first 3 months, alongside all these new heroes, alongside a tiny bit of really headstrong marketing from their community managers and from their internal marketing team, I think if they're actively participating with the community, getting them hyped, I think if they actively kind of make tournaments happen, or like incentivize community members to create them, I think they'll hold 2,000 actually. But that's a lot. That's a lot of development. Like, that's a metric buttload. So uh, we'll see if they have able to do it. If they can, super fantastic to them. I'm going to be playing it either way, whether it has 100 players or 1,000. So I'm looking forward to that. But guys, I'm just worried because Overprime is out a week after they release. And that is the biggest thing. They have a true competition that is going to have all these things they don't, plus an additional 10 heroes, plus customs, plus all this stuff. And so that game is going to inherently be more fun and more replayable. And it's going to be easier to get your friends to play because it's free. And so that game I expect to have more players, unfortunately, at least for the first little bit. And I think Omega is aware of that, right? But we'll see. Now, 6 months down the road, I think if Predecessor keeps on track with how they've been developing, I think it'll be fantastic. I think they'll be bigger. And I think the main reason they'll be bigger is, guys, even if Overprime is a better game, there is one thing that Predecessor does better. Overprime, unfortunately, I don't think they care about the Western market at all. So I think if you're a North American or if you're even European, I don't think they really care about us. We're 20% of their population. Like in those games, they've announced that clearly. There's a tournament. For example, let me give you an example. There was a tournament made by the community for North America and Europe. Couldn't even get a retweet. Couldn't even get announced. Nothing from from Team Soul. There was a Korean tournament. It got funded. They made a LAN event out of it and everything for Overprime. That's how much of a difference it was. They funded the tournament. They gave them money. They had professional casters. They had everything. It's really clear to me that at the moment they don't have any really care for us. They're making the Eastern market game and they're just gonna localize it slightly to the best of their abilities, but it's not gonna be one of their huge things they're working towards. It's meant for that market, and the rest of them can play, and they'll have the servers there for us, but that's about it. So I think that is one thing the Predecessor has going for it, but it is also It is also a double-edged sword. It's also clear that the Eastern market is way larger than the Western market for these games at the moment. So Predecessor might have a hold on the Western market, but the Eastern market's way larger, way larger. It's like 5 times as large. So there is that as well to always think about. But guys, that's all I want to do. I just want to make a little small video there for you all. I hope you enjoy. This is very raw, and we're just gonna post it on the YouTube. And if like, comment, and subscribe if you do. And what I want to see is I want to see some kind of discussion. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Do you guys share the same worries as me? Are you worried that your Paragon's really down to its wits' end, and these next few years is it? And after that, we're gonna just have to move on, and we're never gonna see these heroes in a traditional MOBA style sense ever again, and that's it. I want to hear your thoughts, so let's end it there. Have a good one.